Good afternoon, my dear students. Um, Today, I am going to give a lecture on measures of central tendency and dispersion. In previous class, we have discussed about introduction to statistics, definition of statistics and wire statistics, population and sample, primary and secondary data, types of data, and finally, applications of statistics in medicine. So we have discussed all these concepts in the previous class. And today's learning objectives, at the end of this class, you will be able to understand descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, difference between percentage and percentile, measures of central tendency, outliers, and finally measures of dispersion. So we have discussed it in the previous class. Data is divided into two types. One is quantitative and another one is qualitative data. Qualitative data means data which cannot be measurable. For example, blood group, color, etc. So blood group we cannot, there is no specific measurement scale for blood group. We cannot measure in the form of numbers. So that blood group comes under qualitative data. We cannot represent color in the form of numbers. So that color comes under qualitative data. Data which cannot be measurable, it comes under qualitative data. Data which can be measurable, it is called quantitative data. For example, height we can measure in the form of centimeters, weight we can measure in the form of kilograms, so that all measurement scales, all the variables comes under quantitative data. Different types of categories also there, nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, but basically data is divided into two types: quantity, quality. Quantity we can measure, quality we cannot measure. Okay. Next, descriptive and inferential statistics. Statistics is divided into two types. One is descriptive statistics and another one is inferential statistics. We will see what is the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics are numbers that are used to summarize and describe the data. So here we can use percentages, percentiles, measures of central tendency, and measures of dispersion. These are all methods comes under descriptive statistics. See, in real time, we cannot collect the data from the population. We don't have time and money to collect the data from entire population. So that we have to take the sample and we have to collect the data from the samples and analyze the data based on the sample observations. So those sample statistics are called descriptive statistics. These are the methods. Inferential statistics is used to try to infer from the sample data what the population might think. See, most of the time in research, as I said in the previous class, we cannot collect the entire population. Suppose if you are doing study on pregnant women, your study population is pregnant women. You cannot take data from all the pregnant women in India. So that we have to take the sample and we have to analyze the sample data, and whatever the results you will get in the samples, based on that results, you can give inference, you can generalize the population by using inferential statistical methods. Because we cannot study the entire population, we don't have time and money. These two are the major problems. See, from the sample you can calculate the sample statistics and you can give inference to the population based on the sample statistics. So testing of hypothesis and estimation, these two methods comes under inferential statistics. So that we can estimate the population results based on sample data. This concept is called inferential statistics. So what is the main aim of our statistics? In real time, we have a large data, but we require the summary results. By using appropriate statistical methods, we can summarize the large data by using appropriate statistical methods. You can understand nature of the data by using measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, skewness, and kurtosis. So measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion is in your syllabus. See, what is percentage? A percentage is a proportion of 100 that represents how large one quantity is in relation to another quantity, where the first quantity express a part of or change in the second quantity. You know very well about percentage, how to calculate. See, for example, here the categorical variable is gender. So male population is 40 and female population 160. The total population 200. See, here we are calculating percentage of males. So what is the frequency of males? 40 divided by total population 200 into 100, that equal to 20%. So male percentage is 20. This is the way we are calculating percentages. This is the assignment. You have to calculate percentage of marks. Here a student got 50 marks out of 200. Calculate percentage of marks. I will give you my phone number. I will show some assignments. You have to note down and do the assignments. Write your roll number, name, and do the assignments on paper and send through WhatsApp. Please note down, a student got 50 marks out of 200. Calculate percentage of marks. This is the first assignment, okay? Next, percentile. A percentile is a score at or below which a certain percentage of the distribution lies. See, for example, the 28th percentile is the value or score below which 20% of the observations may be found. Similarly, 80% of the observations are found above the 28th percentile, not percentage. Here, this is P20, 28th percentile. Before the 28th percentile, 20% of the observations are there. And this is P20. P20 means 28th percentile. And above this, 80% of the observations are there. I will explain with an example. This is the formula for calculating percentile. P is percentile, N is number of observations, P into N plus 1 divided by 100. For example, these are all marks. Whenever you calculate the position, first you have to arrange the data in ascending order. The first step is, first you have to arrange the data in ascending order. Next, what is the formula? Here we are calculating 50th percentile. So that P is equal to 50. And how many observations are there here? Total 11 observations are there. So that N equal to 11 plus 1 divided by 100. This is the formula. We are calculating 50th position percentile, so that P is equal to 50 here. Next. Then this value is 6th position value in ascending order. Here, what is the 6th position value in ascending order? See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. The 6th value is 17. That means this 17 is at 50th position, middle position. So that 50% of the observations below the 17 and 50% of observations are above the 17. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 observations below the 17 and 5 observations 1 minute. Observe here, this is a 17, 50th percentile value. That means 17 is in middle position, 50% of the observations before the 17 and 50% the observations above the 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 observations. Okay. So percentile is represent the position of the observation. Okay. See here, I will give another example. The senior in 2016, he got 75% of marks in community medicine, and junior, he got 60% of the marks in community medicine. If you compare percentage, the senior got good marks than the junior. You can collect the data from the seniors, means marks of community medicine, and arrange the data in ascending order and calculate the percentile. See here, senior percentile is 50. The 75 marks position is at 50, percentile is P50. That means 50% of the students got more than 75 marks in the year 2016. Percentage is 75, that is at the 50th position. That means percentile is 50, and we are arranging data in ascending order. P50 means 50% of the observations, mean students got more than 75% marks. Junior, he got 60% marks and his position is 80. The percentage is here, see, observe here. 80 means he is in 80th position. That means only 20% of the observations got more than 60% marks. So here paper is very easy, but here paper is very difficult. So that 80th position value is the 60%. In case of senior, the 50th position is 75%. By considering percentile, junior performed well than the senior. Okay, did you understand what is the difference between percentage and percentile? Percentile is the position. First, you have to arrange the data in ascending order and calculate the values and at which position the value is like. Okay. Next, this is the assignment 2. Please calculate 25th percentile. So this is the data. Please note down. These are the marks, and this is the formula. P is equal to n plus 1 by 100. What is P here? We are calculating here 25th percentile, 25th position value. So that you have to take P as 25 and n means number of observations. N is equal to 11 and calculate the Pn plus 1 by 100 value, and you can observe that position value in ascending order. Okay, this is the assignment number 2. Next, measures of central tendency. It is used to represent the whole data of a variable with a single number. So your class contains 150 students. Suppose if I wanted to calculate mean marks of in a particular subject, but I don't want to take entire the population. So I want to take a sample of 50 students from you randomly, and I will collect the data from 50 students. These 50 students marks I am representing with a single value by using measures of central tendency, that is mean marks. You may take 100 observations or 1000 observations, 10,000 observations, whatever the sample size is. We are representing entire data of a variable. Variable means here marks variable, and weight is another variable, height is variable. It varies from person to person. Constant, it will not vary. Constant is the same, only one value. But variable means it varies from person to person. Marks varies, weight varies, height varies. So, okay. Here, we are representing entire data of a variable with a single value, that is called measures of central tendency. So, basic types of central tendencies: mean, median, and mode. Mean. What is the formula of mean? Mean is equal to sum of the observations by number of observations. The formula mean x bar is equal to, this is the symbol, summation of x by n. 1 minute. Mean x bar, mean is represented with x bar, that is equal to, this is called summation of x. X is the variable, it may be height, it may be weight, by n. N means number of observations. Okay. See here example. Patients recovered from a particular disease. We have taken data in the form of days. The first patient recovered in 8 days, and second one 6 days, third 5 days, and so on. The last one recovered from a particular disease. It took total 7 days time. So here the sum of the observations we have to add all the observations here. 8 plus 6 plus 5 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 7. Total sum of the observations is equal to 58. Number of observations n is equal to 10. So what is the formula of mean? Mean days of recovery is equal to sum of the observations by number of observations, that is equal to 5.8. It is approximately is equal to 6 days. What is our inference? The patient will recover. The patient will take on an average 6 days time to recover from a particular disease. So we have total 10 observations are there. We are representing entire data of this one with a single value, that is called 6 days. Measures of central tendency. What is measures of central tendency? We are representing entire data of a variable with a single value, that is mean days of recovery. Okay. Next, this is the third assignment. Calculate mean. Please note down. Patient's recovery. You please calculate mean for this data. Please note down. Assignment 1 is calculation of percentage. Assignment 2, calculation of percentile. And assignment 3, calculation of mean. Next, median. First, while calculating median, first you have to arrange the data in ascending or descending order, because median is also called as positional average. Whenever you calculate the position, as I said earlier, previous slide, first we have to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. In step 2, if n is odd number, n means number of observations, the middlemost number is called as median. If n is even, average of middle two numbers is called as median. I will explain with an example. Same example. This is the data, and you have to arrange the data first in ascending order. Next, here there are two numbers, because the n is even number, n is equal to 10. We have two middle numbers in ascending order series, 6 and 6, and you can take average of these two numbers, 6 plus 6 by 2, that equal to 6. In this case also, median is equal to 6. Mean is 6 and median is also 6. So on an average, the patient will recover from this disease. I mean, it will take a total 6 days time. Okay. So here, 1 minute. This is the calculation 6 plus 6 by 2 that equal to average of middle two numbers. The median is equal to 6 days. Next, this is the assignment. Please note down. Calculate median. So what is the procedure? In a step 1, first we have to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. The next step, if n means number of observations. If n is even number, you will get 2 numbers in the ascending order series, and you can take average of those 2 numbers. It is called a median. If n is odd number, you will get only one middle number in ascending order series, and that value is called as median. And please note down this assignment and calculate median. Next, mode. Mode is most frequently repeated value in the data. See here, patient's recovery. Here, 5 repeats 2 times, and 6 also 2 times, and 7 repeats 1, 2, 3 times. So 7 is most frequently repeated value. So that mode is equal to 7 days. Next assignment, calculate mode. Please note down and calculate mode. Suppose here 7 repeats 3 times and 6 repeats 3 times, then in this case the 2 values repeats most frequently. That means that series is called bimodal series. That means this data contains 2 modes. This is not the example, but sometimes the data contains 2 modes also. That is called the bimodal series. 2 numbers repeats most frequently. For example, here 7, not only 6, 7 also repeats 3 times. Then we can call this data as bimodal series. And 6 and 7 both are called as, and both are modes. Okay. Please note down. Next, outliers. An outlier is an observation point that is distant from other observations. I will explain with an example. Patients recovered in days. So this is the data. And calculate mean here. So sum of the observations 108 by number of observations 10. So mean is equal to 10.8 and approximately is equal to 11 days. So we are, what is the inference here? What is the, by using measures of central tendency mean, we are giving inference that the patient will recover. He will take almost 11 days time to recover from a particular disease. Okay, but here you please observe here, this 11 is not tallied with any one of the observation. And this 11 is deviated from all the observations. Because there is an outlier present in the data, that is 55. A third patient, he took 55 days to recover. So that when calculating mean, we are adding all the observations, so that this is the extreme values we are including in numerator, so that mean will be increased. And this is, we cannot give this statement, mean is not appropriate measure if data contains the outlier. Then what is the solution? We will see. Suppose if you calculate the median, what is the first step in calculation of median? First, you have to arrange the data in ascending order, and median never focus on all the observations. It will focus only on middle of the data. It may be 55 or 555, whatever it may be. It goes to the end. All the extreme values will come at the beginning or at the end, but median focus only on middle of the data. Here n is 10 numbers, so that there are 2 numbers in the middle, and you can take the average of these two. 6 plus 7, 13 by 2. Then this is almost equivalent to 7, and this 7 is, this is approximately is equal to 7. Average is 6.5 and approximately is equal to 7. So that this 7 tallied very near to the majority of the observations. So that if data contains the outliers, median is appropriate measure in measures of central tendency. You can take median in place of mean. But in majority of the situations, we exclude the medians, we exclude the outliers from the data, and we can calculate the mean. But in very rare situations, we have to continue the data analysis with the outliers. In that case, you have to apply median in place of mean. Conclusion. Sorry. So this is the concept of outlier. Next. See here, tell me what is our conclusion. A class contained 5 students and they wrote the exams in 2 subjects. Mean marks of each student was 50. Here, these are the students, student A, B, C, D, E. Total 2 subjects are there and mean marks 50, and B also got 50, C 50, D got on an average 50 marks, and E also got average 50 marks. So this is the summary statistics. We have applied here measures of central tendency. Total 2 subjects are there and calculated the mean marks of each student, and the mean is same. And what is our conclusion? All the students showed an equal performance. B, all the students not shown an equal performance. According to the measures of central tendency, all means are same, so that option A, all the students shown equal performance is same according to measures of central tendency mean. We will see original individual marks of 2 subjects. See here, student A, he got 10 marks in subject 1 and he got 90 marks in subject 2, and this average 90 plus 10, 100 divided by 2, average is 50. And student B, he got 20 marks in subject 1 and he got 80 marks in subject 2 and average 50. Student C, he got 30 marks in subject 1 and 70 marks in subject 2. Average is equal to 50. 70 plus 30, 100 divided by 2, 50. Student D, he got 14 first subject, 16 second subject, and his average 50. And student E, he got 15 first subject, and he got also 50 marks in second subject also, and in this case also average 50. Is it the failure of statistics, and what is the solution? We will see in the next slide. See, mean is same. A got a minimum 10 marks, in subject 1, and he got 90 marks in subject 2. his average is 50. Observations are widely scattered from the mean value. The dispersion is very high in case of student A. Observations means 10 and 90. Observations are widely scattered from the mean value. In case of B, here also scatterness is there, dispersion is there from the mean value, minimum 20 and maximum 80. And in case of E, he got 15 subject 1 and got a 15 subject 2 also, mean also 50, so there is no deviation here. This deviation we can measure by using measures of dispersion. How observations are scattered from the mean value, that we can represent numerically, that we can measure using measures of dispersion concept. Measures of dispersion is used to measure the deviation. Basically, there are 4 types of dispersions: range, standard deviation, mean deviation, and interquartile range. How to calculate the range? Range formula: maximum value minus minimum value. Range represented with the R, letter capital R. So here example, patients recovered in a days. This is the example, same example. So what is the maximum value here? Maximum value is 8. And what is the minimum value? Minimum value is 4. So 8 minus 4, that equal to 4 days. So this is the range. We will see what is the advantage and disadvantage of range. Before that, please note down this assignment. Calculate range for the following data. Please note down this data and calculate range. Observations 2, 4, 6, 10, 3, 8, 9. What is the formula of range? R equal to maximum value minus minimum value. Disadvantage: it considers only 2 observations, maximum 1 and minimum 1. Most affected by outliers. Suppose if data contains the outliers, the minimum value is the outlier and maximum value is outlier. Suppose if you take the difference, then you will get a huge value. So this is the disadvantage of range. If data contains the outliers, we cannot take range as measures of, in measures of dispersion, we should not take range if data contains the outliers. What is the advantage? It is easy to calculate. You can take maximum value and minimum value and subtract it, and you will get a range value. Next, standard deviation. This is the formula: square root of summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1. N is number of observations, x is the variable. X bar means x bar is mean. So this is the example. X is patient's recovery in days. The first patient recovered in 5 days and second patient 5 days. And last patient he recovered in 10 days. And summation of x total is equal to 35. 35 by number of observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 observations are there. 35 by 5. So that mean is equal to 7. Why we have to calculate mean here? In the formula, we have to subtract all individual observations from the mean value. So that first we have to calculate the mean. sum of the observations by number of observations, 35 by 5, that equal to mean is equal to 7. Next you have to calculate x minus x bar, means x minus mean, x minus mean. The mean value is 7. So x value is 5 and mean value is 7. X minus 7, that is equal to minus 2. 5 minus 7, minus 2. 6 minus 7, minus 1. 9 minus 7, 2. 10 minus mean value, 7, 3. Next, what is the formula? Please observe here, x minus x bar whole square. This is x minus x bar. X bar means mean. Next, you have to square all these observations. X minus x bar whole square. Minus 2 whole square, 4. Minus 2 whole square, 4. And so on. 3 square is equal to 9. Next, we have to take sum of x minus x bar whole square values. So this is the last column, x minus x bar whole square values. Here in the formula, x bar is there. X bar means mean. We can take the sum of x minus x bar whole square values, that is equal to 22. So this is the original data. And in the calculation numerator, x minus x bar is there. So that first you have to calculate the mean value. Mean is sum of the observations by number of observations. And we have to subtract mean from all individual observations, that is the second column. Next, we have to square all the second column observations, x minus mean whole square, because this is in the numerator. And what is this symbol? Summation, sum of all x minus x bar whole square values. Here summation x minus x bar whole square is equal to 22. So here square root of x minus x bar numerator value, sum of x minus x bar whole square value 22 divided by number of observations minus 1. Total observations, 5 observations are there. 5 minus 1, that is equal to 4. So, what is the deviation here? Standard deviation 2 days. Mean is 7 with a deviation 2 days. Okay. The patient will recover from a particular disease. We will take total on an average 7 days time with a standard deviation 2. 2 days means on an average, observations are scattered from the mean value, that is 2 days. This is the dispersion. How observations are dispersed from the mean value we can calculate by using standard deviation. Okay. Please note down this formula, summation square root of summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1. N means number of observations. Okay, x individual observation you should take in the first column, and then numerator x minus x bar whole square. Then so that first you have to calculate the mean value and subtract mean from each of the observations, that is second column. And here we have to take the square of x minus x bar whole square, so that you have to square all the second column observations in third column. And we have to take the sum of x minus x bar whole square values, so that we have to add all the values in the third column, that is the numerator. Next, denominator n minus 1. N means number of observations 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is equal to 4, and calculate, then approximately is equal to 2 days. The standard deviation is 2. Okay. Next, calculate a standard deviation for the following data. Only 5 observations are there. Please note down. 2, 4, 6, 10, 3. Calculate standard deviation. I will show you previous slide once again. So these are the steps we have to make while calculating standard deviation. The first column x individual observations, second column x minus x bar, and third column x minus x bar whole square. Formula square root of summation x minus x bar whole square by n minus 1. See, if the sample size is less than 30, we have to take n minus 1 in the denominator. If sample size is more than 30, we have to take n in the denominator in place of n minus 1. Usually in the practicals, we will give less than 30 samples only, because if we give more than 30 samples, it will take time to calculate standard deviation. And usually we will give less than 30 samples only in the practical examination. So that, please remember, in the denominator we have to take n minus 1 if sample size is less than 30. Next, note down. Next disadvantage is it is affected by the outliers, because while we are calculating standard deviation, we are considering all the observations. If data contains the outlier, definitely standard deviation is affected by the outlier. And what is the advantage? It considers all the observations. Range consider only two observations, a maximum value and minimum value. Suppose if you have 100 observations, range consider only two, minimum or maximum value. But in case of standard deviation, it considers all the observations. That is the advantage, and it is useful for further mathematical calculations. We will see in the further concepts in normal distribution, testing of hypotheses, and in all the future statistics concepts, we are using mean and standard deviation most frequently. So that this is the main advantage of standard deviation. It is useful for further mathematical calculation while you are calculating correlations, regressions, and normal distribution. In all the concepts, we are using standard deviation and mean most frequently. Okay. Next, mean deviation. This is the formula: mean deviation summation modulus of x minus x bar by n. Here, modulus means even it is positive or negative, we have to take only positive values only. Okay. So mean deviation from mean formula summation modulus of x minus x bar by n. Don't take bracket here. If you take a bracket, this value is always 0. So you should take modulus summation modulus of x minus x bar by n. This is the example here. In this formula also mean is there, x bar is there. So first you have to calculate the mean formula, sum of the observations by number of observations. Here sum of the observations 35 by number of observations 5, 35 by 7, sorry, 30 by 5, 5, that equal to 7. First we have to take x minus x bar values in the second column. 5 minus 7 minus 2, 5 minus 7 minus 2, 6 minus 7 minus 1, 9 minus 7, 2, 10 minus 7, 3. So this is the x minus mean column. Next, numerator we should take modulus of x minus x bar. So modulus of x minus mean means x bar. Modulus of x minus mean, modulus of minus 2, that is equal to plus 2. You have to take, even it is a negative value, modulus means you should take only positive values. Okay. Minus 2 converts to plus 2, minus 1, modulus of minus 1 is equal to 1. So here, what is the law? What is the numerator here? Summation modulus of x minus x bar. So we have to take sum of all modulus of x minus x bar values. The last column is modulus of x minus x bar values. We have to take sum of all these values. So what is the sum of all these values is equal to 10. Here mean deviation from mean summation x minus x bar by n, that equal to numerator 10 by denominator number of observations 5, that equal to 2 days. Okay. Please note down this procedure. Formula summation x minus x bar by n. This is the first column, individual observations, and summation of all the observations. And second column x minus x bar, and third column modulus of x minus x bar. Okay. Please note down formula and this procedure. Calculate mean deviation for the following data. Please note down this data and calculate mean deviation. Observations 2, 4, 6, 10, 3. So this is the procedure. Note down the formula and first, second, third column. Please note down the headings and calculate the mean deviation. Next, disadvantages affected by the outliers, because we are here considering all the observations and formula itself contains the mean value x bar. Mean is, we already know mean is affected by the outliers, so that mean deviation is also affected by the outliers. That means if data contains the outliers, we should not take mean deviation and standard deviation for measuring the dispersion. Okay. And range also, we cannot calculate range, standard deviation, mean deviation if data contains the outliers. Not useful for further mathematical calculations. Problem with the modulus, so that it will not useful for further mathematical calculations. In future, mean deviation applications are very, very less, and we can use mean and standard deviation for further mathematical applications. Next, advantages. It considers all the observations. This is the advantage. Next, interquartile range. So interquartile range formula Q3 minus Q1. Q3 means 75th position value. Q1 means 25th position value. Whenever we say positions, first we have to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Okay. I will explain how to calculate Q3 and Q1 and its formulas. Okay. See, this is the example, this is the data. And what is the first step? First, we have to arrange the data in ascending order. Next, first we have to calculate the Q3 formula, 3 into n plus 1 by 4. N is number of observations. Total observations here, 11 observations are there. 3 into 11 plus 1 by 4. 12 by 4, 3. 3 into 3, 9th position value in ascending order. What is the 9th position value in ascending order? See here, 9th position value is 7. So 9th position value is in ascending order is 7. So that is Q3. Next, Q1 formula n plus 1 by 4, that equal to 11 plus 1 by 4, 12 by 4, that is equal to third position value in ascending order. What is third position value here? 1, 2, 3. Third position value is 2. So Q1 is equal to 2. What is the formula of interquartile range? Q3 minus Q1. What is Q3? 7. Q1 value is 2. 7 minus 2, that is equal to 5. So here total 3 quartiles divide the entire data into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Q1 means 25th position value. Q2 means 50th position value. It is nothing but median. 50th position is median. Value arranging the data in ascending order. And median is always concentrated on middle of the data. That is called QT is equal to median only. Okay. But we need here Q1 and Q3 because in the interquartile range formula Q3 minus Q1. Okay, Q1 25th position and Q3 75th position. So how to calculate Q1, Q3? Q3 formula 3 into n plus 1 by 4, that is equal to 9th position value in ascending order. Don't take 9 as a Q3. 9th position value you have to see in the ascending order series. Okay, that is 7. Next, Q1 formula n plus 1 by 4. and 11 plus 1 by 4, that is equal to third position value in ascending order. That is third position value is 2. Okay. 7 minus 2 is equal to 5. See here, we are not considering all the observations here. We are considering Q1 position, 25th position and 75th position here. That is Q1 and Q3. So suppose if data contains the outlier, while you are arranging the data in ascending order, outliers will go at the end or at the beginning. So that we are considering only 25th position and 75th position. And this difference we are taking here, so that interquartile range is not affected by the outliers. If data contains the outliers, appropriate measures of dispersion is interquartile range. Okay. So please note down, this is the formula Q3 minus Q1 interquartile range formula. Q3 formula 3 into n plus 1 by 4. Q1 formula n plus 1 by 4. Next, please note down. This is the data, and we have to calculate interquartile range. This is not the correct answer. You please do it and send through WhatsApp. You write your number, roll number and name, and do all these assignments and send through WhatsApp. Next, disadvantages. It considers only Q1 and Q3 positions of the data. It depends only on 2 observations. Okay. What is the advantage? It is not affected by the outliers. Suppose you have a data with outliers. You don't want to remove the outliers. You wanted to continue the data analysis with the outliers. In this case, you have to take mean as a measures of central tendency. Sorry, median as measures of central tendency. And we have to take interquartile range in measures of dispersion. Okay. Next, relative measures. The concept coefficient of variation. It can be used to compare the variability of 2 or more sets of data measured in different units. For example, if you take height measures in centimeters, weight measures in kilograms. If we want to compare the variability between 2 different variables, so here measurement units are different, but you wanted to compare the variability between 2 variables. In this case, we should not compare the standard deviations. We have to take the relative measure, that is called coefficient of variation. First, you have to calculate the coefficient of variation of weight. Next, you have to calculate coefficient of variation of height. And you can compare coefficient of variation between 2 variables. Then you can decide that which variable is having more variations, more dispersion. So this is the procedure if you want to compare 2 different variables with the 2 different units. Okay, I will explain with an example. What is the formula? Coefficient of variation formula: standard deviation by mean into 100. Standard deviation by mean into 100. Here there are 2 different variables. We should not compare deviations, standard deviation directly, and we should take first we should calculate coefficient of variation. What is the formula? Standard deviation by mean into 100. So height mean is 166.8 with a standard deviation 7.3. I have explained how to calculate mean and the standard deviation in previous slides. And this is the summary statistics of height. Mean 166.8 with the standard deviation 7.3. Next, we have to calculate the coefficient of variation. Standard deviation by mean into 100, that is 4.4. This is the coefficient of variation of height. This measurement is in centimeters. And weight coefficient of variation 15.5. So coefficient of variation of weight is greater than the coefficient of variation of height. So we will see dispersion in weights than the heights. So huge dispersion you can observe in weights, not in the heights. So two different variables here. We are different scales, but we are comparing the deviations. We should not take standard deviation. You should not compare standard deviation between two variables or between two different measurements. Okay, you should calculate coefficient of variation, then only you can compare the two different measurement scales. Okay, so weight shows more variation than the heights. Okay, this is the conclusion. So this is the data. First you have to calculate mean, next calculate the standard deviation, and next calculate coefficient of variation, SD, standard deviation by mean into 100. You please note down this assignment is 2, 4, 6, 10, 3. Calculate first mean, then standard deviation, then calculate coefficient of variation. So this is the formula, SD by mean into 100. Okay, this is the data. Next. So this is the summary. So how to calculate descriptive statistics? See, for example, if data is qualitative, we will see what is normal distribution in next class. If it is follows normal distribution or non-normal distribution. Qualitative data you have to represent with the frequency and percentage. There is no dispersion. There is no measure of calculation of dispersion in case of qualitative data. If data is quantitative and it follows normal distribution, that means if data do not have an outliers, then you can apply mean in central tendency, standard deviation and dispersion. Data is quantitative and it is not followed the normal distribution. That means data contains the outliers. In that case, we have to apply median in central tendency and interquartile range in dispersion. So this is the way you have to represent descriptive statistics. Suppose you are doing some research, you may collect a qualitative information as well as quantitative information also. For example, if you collect age and gender comes under qualitative data, age comes under quantitative data. If data is qualitative, you can represent percentage frequency of males, females, frequency percentage of males, percentage of females. If data is quantitative, there is no outliers in the data, and you can calculate mean age, standard deviation of age. Standard deviation means how observations are scattered from the mean value. We can find on an average how observations are scattered from the mean value. We can measure by using dispersion concept. If data follows normality, you can apply standard deviation. Data is quantitative and it is not following the normal distribution. That means data contains the outliers, and in that case you can apply median in central tendency and interquartile range in measures of dispersion. Okay, this is the way you have to represent descriptive statistics. Next, these are the questions which were given in PG entrance examination. See the first question. See here, all of the following are quantitative variables except serum cholesterol, option A, option B weight, option C gender, option D Celsius temperature scale. See here, gender is qualitative variable, not a quantitative variable. So that C is the correct answer. All of the following are quantitative variables except C, gender. Okay. Next, question 2. Out of 11 births in a hospital, 5 babies weighted over 2.5 kg and 5 weighted less than 2.5 kg. What value do 2.5 represent? So 50% of the observations before 2.5 kg, and 50% of the observations above the 2.5 kg. Total 11 members are there, 2.5 in the middle, and 5 observations below the 2.5 and 5 observations above the 2.5. That means 2.5 is at the middle. Middle means median. We are representing here position. Middle is median. 11 observations, the middle one is 2.5. What is the question again? Out of 11 births in a hospital, 5 babies weighted over 2.5 and 5 weighted less than 2.5. 2.5 is the middle value. So that 2.5 represents median. Okay. Next. Median of the following data will be. So this is the calculation. First you have to arrange the data in ascending order, and then you can observe, see here ascending order 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. Ascending order. This is an descending order. What is the number of observations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the middle value? 8 is the middle value. 8 is the middle value. So answer is 8. Next, most frequently occurring value in a group of data. So most frequently occurring value is mode. Mode means most frequently repeated value. Okay. So mode applications are very less in medical field, whereas in business, in measures of central tendency, mode applications are very. In business field, applications of mode is very. Most frequently they are using mode, but in medicine side, medical data, biological data, we frequently use mean or median, not the mode. Next. Commonly used measures of central tendencies are all of the following except. In measures of central tendency, commonly used techniques we discussed already: mean, median, and mode. Range comes under measures of dispersion, not central tendency. Okay. Commonly used measures of central tendency are all of the following except range. Okay. Next question. 50th percentile is equivalent to 50th percentile means arrange the data in ascending order and calculate the P50. 50th percentile means middle of the data, so that it is median. Next question. Standard deviation is the measure of chance. No. Measure of central tendency. No. Measures of central tendency, we have 3 techniques: mean, median, and mode. And standard deviation is the measure of deviation from mean value. How observations are deviated from the mean value, we can calculate by using standard deviation. So option C is correct answer. Next, question 8. Median weight of 100 children was 12 kg. The standard deviation was 3. Calculate the percentage coefficient of variation. What is the formula of coefficient of variation? Standard deviation by mean. Sorry, this is not a median weight. This is a mean weight. This is the not median. Sorry, this is the mean weight of 100 children were 12 kg. The standard deviation was 3. Calculate the percentage coefficient of variation. Formula SD by mean into 100. What is SD? 3 by mean value 12. Not the median value. This is mean value. Okay. 3 by 12 into 100. That is equal to 25%. Coefficient of variation formula as D by mean into 100, not a median. Okay. This is not the median, mean. Okay. Next. If the birth weight of each of the 10 babies born in a hospital in a day is found to be 2.8 kg, then the standard deviation of the sample will be, see, birth weight of each of the 10 babies born in a hospital in a day is found to be 2.8 kg. So all 10 babies weight 2.8 kg. So there is no deviation. Then the standard deviation of the sample will be, If there is no deviation, means all 10 observations are 2.8 only. In this case, you will get mean value, standard deviation value 0. Individual observations are not scattered from the mean value, so that deviation is equal to 0. Next, which of the following measure of dispersion is not affected by outlier? So what is the range formula? Maximum value minus minimum value, it is affected by the outlier. Standard deviation, it considers all the observations, and formula itself contains the mean x bar, so that mean is affected by the outlier, so that standard deviation is also affected by the outlier. Next, mean deviation. Mean deviation formula itself has a mean value, so that it is also affected by the outlier. And interquartile range is not affected by the outlier, because we are considering 75th position value and 25th position value. All the outliers will come at the end, extreme ends, in the beginning or at the end, so that interquartile range is not affected by the outliers. Thank you. So my phone number 9014926669. 9014926669. I will show you all the assignments once again. Please note down and write your roll number, name, and do calculations on paper and send through WhatsApp. I will show you the first assignment is the first one is so this is the first assignment, calculation of percentage. The student got 50 marks out of 200. Calculate the percentage of marks. Okay, this is first one. And second one, calculation of percentile. This is the formula, percentile formula, P into n plus 1 by 100. Okay, this is the assignment. I will show you the assignment. This is the assignment. Note down these observations and calculate 25th percentile. Okay, this is the formula. Next one. This is calculation of mean. Please note down this data and calculate mean. This is the data. Calculate median. Next, calculate mode. Next, calculate range. Next, calculate standard deviation. Next, calculate mean deviation. Next, calculate interquartile range. Next, calculate coefficient of variation. If you have any questions, please contact through phone. My phone number again I'm repeating. My phone number is 90-149-26669. అయిపోయిందండి. ఓకే అండి.